Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit comparison. Today I'm going to compare DARKSTAR with 9S. Now I received this DARKSTAR from Matt's Landscaping, and it's weighing in at just over a pound. Now I've had that plant since 2018. It's one of my favorite fruit. Now this season I have Paul Thompson's 9S with some ripe fruit. And you can see that they're very similar, and in the book 9S is reported to have first flowered back in 1999, and it does have commercial potential as stated. Now the flowers are also unique. You can see here's DARKSTAR's flowers, and they have split ends, and they're called bifid. So the flowers are another way to identify them. I did not take photos of the 9S flower, so I will compare them in the future. So let's go ahead, let's get started, and let's see how sweet these wonderful varieties are, or hopefully they are the same variety. First up, 9S. Another 9S. And DARKSTAR. Clean my knife just in case. So there you go. Appear to be the same color, same shape, similar shape. And 9S gets a little less sunlight, so that may explain some of the differences on the exterior color because it's slightly darker. But to me, these look pretty darn similar. Now let's check the sugar content. See how that compares. DARKSTAR does get pretty sweet, close into the 20s, into the 19s. Had them bricks in the 19s before. So this one's a little bit lower, probably due to the heat wave. But again, don't let a 16 6/10 scare you. It's still going to be a delicious fruit. Let's try one of these before we taste test. It's a little bit higher. Might as well just test all three. I'll be fast. I'll try to be fast. So the best is 17.3. Again, these will bricks higher, but I would predict that the heat wave affected the ripening or sped it up. That's DARKSTAR, I remember. One of my favorite fruit. It's actually nice, a little less sweet. It's more tart. Lovely texture. It's one of my favorite things about this fruit. Juicy, soft. The seeds are not earthy at all. Kind of like a mild sweet grape with some berries, kind of how I describe it, versus 9S. And the other 9S. And they taste the same to me. This one's a little bit more ripe. You can see the skin is a little bit thinner. And this one has a little bit better flavor, but that's simply because I believe I picked it a little earlier. I did not keep track of the days. Man, I love this fruit. So, in my humble opinion, I do believe that 9S and DARKSTAR are the same variety. But I'll keep a close watch on these plants and analyze them for another season or so, just to be sure. But tasting the fruit, I would definitely say that these are the same in my humble opinion. I love this fruit. I give this anywhere from an 8 to a 10 out of 10, depending on how ripe it is and sweet. I would give these specific fruits, I would give this one a 9, and these ones 8. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Quang Ong Self-Fertile. You can see here the fruit is weighing just under 1.4 pounds. It's a beautiful fruit. And the last fruit I had was just a hair under 2 pounds, so this fruit gets quite large. Now, Quang Ong is actually a man who runs an exotic nursery in San Diego, and I met him, and he's very, very kind. And he shared the story. He also shared the story, or showed me some pictures of the beautiful fruit that you can see here. And he showed me photos of his plants before they were all removed when he sold his Adamoya farm. Now, I even have one called Quang's A2 Hybrid, but I believe the plants in the photo are G1, G2, G3, and Quang Ong Self-Fertile, which could be the same as American Beauty. Now, you can see here that Leo got a cutting from him back in September 2010. So the plant I have is 12 years old. Sorry, math is hard sometimes. Now, the flower has a short stigma, and you can see I had some morning blooms here, but I didn't get up close, so sorry about that. Now, the last fruit I had, it bricksed it. Look at this, a 19 1/10. So wow, what a sweet fruit. And it did taste a little bit different than American Beauty. So let's see what this fruit looks like and how it tastes today. So here it is, Quang Ong Self-Fertile. And I haven't tested it, but I'm pretty sure that, I mean, it has the name Self-Fertile, that the fruit is, this variety is self-fertile. So let's see how sweet it is. And I really like this, but I'm on the fence about it being the same as American Beauty, because the American Beauty I have from Leo Manuel, it tasted a little bit different. This one was just more sweet, I want to say. It was really juicy, as you could see. And I enjoy this fruit very much. All right, 19 6/10, so it's even sweeter than the last fruit, 19.4, 19.6. So let's dive in. I'm really excited. I love this fruit. Guatemalan varieties are my favorite. I highly suggest that you grow them. They don't get damaged from the heat waves, unlike Undatus and some other varieties I have in the collection. And the texture I just love. I love how juicy they are. Just a delicious, sweet fruit. Especially if you like sweetness. Oh, man. I could eat 2 of these this morning. Wow. Definitely in my top 10. And in the future, I'll compare American Beauty to this variety. I'll do something more in depth next season, because I have more flower buds on Quang, but no more flower buds on American Beauty this season. If you like sweetness, I would consider this a 9 out of 10. Not sure what is better than this. Possibly a 10 out of 10. Although, I'm a little biased. I really like I said, the Guatemalan gene. I really like American Beauty a lot. Kind of has like very smooth texture, very sweet. The seeds are 0 earthiness detected. And how would I describe the flavor? Kind of like a melon, sweet melon, but a smoother, better texture than melon, if that makes sense. Really juicy. Got a little bit of acidity. And if it's not the same as American Beauty, they are very, very close to being the same. My hypothesis is that Quang Ong Self-Fertile, I know it was sent to Pine Island where they named American Beauty, but I also recently learned that Pine Island put 2 plants per pot. So possibly they mixed Quang Ong with American Beauty and they kind of sold both. But I don't think we'll ever find out until hopefully I can do a nice back-to-back comparison of the 2 varieties. And even then, I'm not sure I'll be able to distinguish the difference. This absolutely has commercial potential. It has multiple fleshes, has a nice, beautiful, thick skin. It's very sweet, like you saw, Brixton the 19 6/10, and it gets to be quite a large fruit. So, in this case, this is the exact dragon fruit that is, I'd have to say, is my favorite. I would have to give this a 10 out of 10. I just want to eat the whole thing. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit growers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review my friend, the late Leo Manuel's Selenocereus megalanthus, crossed with Hylocereus costarricensis. Now, he had over 20 pots of this cross, and there's at least, I would say, 6 seedling sisters, possibly more. Now, this one, the fruit is weighing in at 7/10 of a pound, so a little under 3/4 of a pound. Now, it's definitely a unique looking fruit, as you can see. And I'm really excited to try this. I have several more coming from this cross, from this series, I guess you could say, and hopefully I could figure out how many hybrids, how many seedling sisters there are in this cross. But we'll see. I may never know because it's overwhelming. There's over 20 pots, like I said. So let's cut this open and take a look. I'm looking for a magenta fleshed fruit, and this one is red fleshed. Look at that. It's very pretty. But Leo, as you can see here, gave me a piece to try. It was 8 to 10 years old of his favorite of the series, and it was magenta flesh. So I'm looking for that. And let's see how this does on the Brix refractometer. So we could test the sugar content. Now you can see here what the plant looks like. Puts on a nice coating, typical of a red flesh variety, and you can also see what the flower looks like. So it's a really nice, big, beautiful flower. I don't know why I did water again there. Whoops. I'll just zero. Whoops. It's got a bubble there. Okay. Well, now it's really zeroed out. Guess I just want to build some suspense. It's a nice looking red flesh. I wonder how sweet it's going to be. Nice firm texture. And a moment of truth. 15. I probably could have left it on the plant longer. That's what the juice looks like. But it did turn color about 5 days ago. And just because it's a 14 and 9/10 doesn't mean it's not bad fruit. It just means I need to, next time, give it a little bit more time. And also the plant needs to grow a bit. It was pretty small. Wow. Very flavorful for a red flesh. Seeds are slightly earthy, in my opinion. Not in a bad way, though, but definitely a little bit of earthiness, which can happen with some red flesh. And I do like the flavor. I like the texture more than anything. This would be really good in like a fruit salad or in a smoothie. I definitely expect the Brix to get higher. You can see that the skin of it is nice and thick, and it probably could have had more time on the plant, and it probably would have got a little bit more plumper and fuller. It's interesting. It's a good fruit. I wouldn't run over, try to find this one. I bet you there's better ones in the series. But I really do like it. It's enjoyable. I'd give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. This specific fruit. But again, I think if I would have left it on the vine, the plant a bit longer, I would suspect it would probably bricks in the upper teens. I do like it. Very strong berry vibe. Kind of reminds me of Saber Lisa a little bit. Surprisingly. That's what comes to mind as I eat this variety. So there you go. That is Leo's Slendoceus megalanthus crossed with Hyloceus castrensis pot B. I think on lettering I've named the pots all the way up to N, and I know that there's three or four more that I still need to repot and relabel. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Alice Snow. It's an undatus, and it's named after California rare fruit grower Alice Snow. And you can see here she was friends with the late Paul Thompson. Now, Pine Island and Matt's Landscape both sold this variety, and I interviewed Alice a month ago or so, and she and her husband Dick said that this was a variety that was one of Paul Thompson's undatus from his collection, which I find very interesting. You can see it was weighing in at just under a pound, as you can see. So let's get to it. Let's give it a cut, and let's see how sweet it is, and let's enjoy this lovely fruit today. Now, I was a little worried it would have been damaged on the inside due to a heat wave, but luckily this variety was in the shade, so it is looking beautiful. It's a nice shaped fruit, a nice size. I really like the inside of the flesh. It looks really appealing. It's a nice color. It's not gray. It's really a pretty fruit. Got a little water in it, so I'm shaking it out. Okay. Get those bubbles out of there. Wow, just 10 6/10, which is a very low score, but typical of many undatus. Now, it probably would be higher if we didn't have our heat wave. Wow, surprisingly really sweet. Ever so slight earthiness in the seeds, possibly. Mild. One of the better undatus that I've tried, despite the low bricks. It's actually really good. I would eat this whole thing. I would not have guessed that it would taste so sweet, showing you that it's only a 10.6. Wow, I like it. I'm gonna keep this one. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it will be sweeter if the growing conditions were better, not so hot. It's definitely one of the sweeter flavored whites. Texture is really, really nice. Firm, kind of like a grape-like texture. It's not grainy at all. Very, very smooth. Sometimes undatus can be kind of grainy or mushy. And that is not the case with this one. I'm going to keep this one. Wow. I'm going to give it a 5.5, maybe a 6, just because I like a bit more flavor. This one just kind of has sweetness, smoothness, very mild, but enjoyable. I think this is the best undatus I've eaten this season. That's what I'll say. I'm going to give it a 6. It's a little bit I mean, I want to eat more, so it's got to be pretty good if I want to have another spoonful. Skin's kind of thin, but pretty, really salmon colored, pinkish. All around a great fruit. You can see why they decided to name this Alice, or Alice Snow. So there you go, give us a like and a subscribe. I recommend this variety. It's a nice flavored undatus. It's not coconutty at all, very mild, mildly sweet, just enjoyable. All around a great fruit. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Spicy Exotics, Mr. Wu. It's weighing in at just over a pound, and you can see it's a really beautiful looking fruit. Now, according to Spicy Exotics' website, it has an unknown history. It's probably a hybrid, and it came from California, and they describe it as having a deep purple-fleshed fruit that's firm, and it's a grape-like, tangy flavored fruit with some mild sweetness. That's how it's described. You can see the flower here. It's really stunning. And let's cut it open and give it a taste. Now there is that deep purple color, as you can see. And it's got a lot of seeds, but there's also a lot of flesh, as you can see. The skin has commercial potential, I think, because it's nice and has some thickness. It's not too thin for transportation. And let's see how sweet it is. Now, we did have a heat wave, so the score may be a little low due to the accelerated ripening of just about all of my fruits here this season. So the sugar content's generally a little bit lower than what we typically have this time of year. And at the festival, which we attended this week, we noticed that was happening at other farms as well, so not just in my experience. So 13. 12.9. Now that doesn't mean it's a bad fruit, but again, they ripened early and quicker than they should have due to the temperature. And man, this is an excellent fruit. It does not taste too tart. 13 is a lower score. I bet this would get into, I think it's been recorded in the 17s or 18s. So it can get sweeter. But this is a really delicious, enjoyable fruit that I highly recommend. I do enjoy this variety. Seeds are crunchy, not earthy at all. Kind of a complex berry flavor. Can't put my finger on it yet. Mild berry flavor. What does it remind me of? Let me try another bite. It's really juicy. And the flavors on the last fruit I had were better, but that was before we got hit with that really hot weather. I'm going to say it reminds me of raspberries, a more mild raspberry flavor. You can see the color of the flesh as recorded through this juice. And I really enjoy this despite the lower bricks, which I understand. But brick score is not everything. I'm going to eat this entire fruit this morning. And I give it a 7 out of 10. Nice, respectable 7 out of 10. I bet I might get up to an 8 if the fruit was sweeter. But don't let that score, that brick score, fool you into thinking this is not a good variety, because this, I'm going to be removing several varieties this season, at least 50, and this one is going to stay. I enjoy it. Nice and juicy, zero earthiness. All around a great fruit. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today is a Guatemalan Showdown, and you can see they're brixing up into the high 19s. So first off the bat is Shayna. It brixed at 19.1 and then again at 19.4 on the other half. So this is my first Shayna fruit. I'm really excited to try it. Let's see how good Shayna is. Ooh, that is really good. So this is a hybrid by Edgar Valdivia, and it's very sweet. It's a Guatemalan variety. Nice texture. It's not just sweet, it's got a nice acidity. It's very similar to American Beauty. Really enjoyable. I like Shayna a lot. Up next, Namibian Orange. Now this one brixed a little lower, lowest of the bunch at 17 2/10. And you can see I picked it a little early. The skin's a little bit thicker. So if you compare the two, Shayna, see how thin the skin is? Versus Namibian Orange. Namibia Orange, I should say. I like this one as well. Very different flavor. Bit more tart. Could be because it's a little bit, it was picked a little earlier. But back to back, I'd have to prefer, I think I prefer Shayna. At least this fruit is a bit sweeter. Now they're both good, but I prefer Shayna. So far Shayna is the winner. Whoa. But these are both very similar. I mean, all Guatemalan varieties have a lot of similarities. Now here's another one. This is an unknown one from Leo Manuel. It was labeled as Taiwan Red. And he had about 6 pots of Taiwan Red. And this one was the only one that looked Guatemalan. So it should be Taiwan Purple. This one tastes very similar to Shayna. It's a no ID. I don't know if I'll ever be able to figure out what it is, but it tastes a lot like Shayna. And this one brixed at 19. This is the fruit that brixed at 19. I like it a lot. Very similar to American Beauty as well. So far Shayna has been the winner. It also had the highest brick score. Now here's another no ID that I found, or my neighbor found actually and gave it to me. And it's a Guatemalan variety as well, similar to American Beauty. Now this one brixed at 18 4/10. So let's see how this one tastes compared to the others. Very hard to distinguish much of a difference between these. Out of all of them, Namibian Orange tastes the most unique, which is this one. And it's a bit more tart. Smoother texture. I actually prefer the texture of Namibian Orange, Namibia Orange. But blindfolded, it'd be really hard to taste much of a difference between all of these. But this variety, Hylocereus guatemalensis, is my favorite. You can see they're very similar. Color, texture, taste, size of the seeds. And this is easily my favorite variety. I'm gonna eat all of these right now. I can't wait to do that. So there you go, that is the showdown. Out of all of them, I'd have to say Shayna was my favorite. But if you're growing American Beauty, all of these are quite similar to that. Maybe a G2 as well. So there you go. Very similar genetics in these varieties. And it's a wonderful type of fruit and flavor that I really enjoy. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review JADE Red. It's from Australia, and you can see it's weighing in at just over ½ pound. And it was on the shady side of the plant, so it's still a little green. But it was really, really loose, and it's ripe, and it's ready to be tasted. So I'm really excited to try this variety. You can see that it has an absolutely stunning flower. It's similar to a Sunta. Here's what the branches look like. Reminds me a bit of a Guatemalan, and it grows really, really quickly. Now, I believe this variety is self-sterile. It needs to be cross-pollinated. So you can see online, they keep saying that it's self-fertile. I do not believe that. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it a cut and taste this beautiful variety. Look at that. Very nice color. And this is the first fruit off of the plant. So beautiful magenta flesh. Nice seed to flesh ratio. It's not too seedy. And let's see how sweet it is. All right. I'm really excited to try this because I want to know, I want to experience to see if it tastes like an Asunta or if it's different. And it's a very beautiful flower. It's reported to taste more like a Guatemalan variety, which is my favorite, so I'm excited to see how this tastes. You can see it's really juicy. And in the mid-17s, so respectable score. I predict it'll be sweeter next season as the plant matures. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Nice texture. Really juicy, really juicy. Nice flavors. Tastes like a slightly watered down Guatemalan variety. And not in a bad way. I think it's just a first season fruit. Wow, really delicious, mild. Kind of reminds me a bit of Paul Thompson's hybrids. Does not taste like an Asunta to me. Really delicious. I like this. I love the flower and how fast it grows too. Now, since this is the first season fruit, I don't think I'm going to give it an official score, but it's definitely worthy of keeping. And I really look forward to a more mature plant next season so I can see if the flavors are improved a bit on this fruit. I do like it. I do recommend it, especially just how well it grows in Southern California climates. Man, I like it. So there you go. That is JADE Red. Give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks for your time. Hopefully you'll be able to try this variety in the future. I think it has a lot of potential. It's a nice mild fruit with a really nice texture, beautiful colors, great flavor. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit growers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Nicaraguan Red. It's a Hyloceus guatemalensis that comes from a commercial farm in Nicaragua. You can see here, this one is weighing just over 3/4 pound. These will get up to a pound. Now, they do bricks in the mid-18s, and this variety is self-fertile. Now, the drawback is it has a really thin skin, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, here's what the flower bud looks like. Here's the flower. And here's the beautiful fruit as it's ripening. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut these open and have a taste. Now again, you can see these are off of the same plant, but when they're ripe, that skin is thin. So that's the drawback about this for commercial potential, is that having a thin skin can cause problems and damage the flesh during transportation. So let's see how sweet this is. Let's give it a taste. Now it is a typical Guatemalan, you can see there. It's gonna be nice and juicy. Has a really nice flesh to seed ratio, look at that. Lots and lots of beautiful purple flesh. It's very juicy. There's 17 1/10. 17 flat. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. And brick scores and everything. If it's at least 15 or 16, it's going to be a delicious fruit in my experience. I've even had some in the 12s that tasted delicious. This one's very nice. Absolutely delicious when chilled in a refrigerator. These have been in the fridge for about 2 days. It's got some nice acidity. It's really balanced. And it's very similar to American Beauty. I mean, there are distinct nuances between these different Guatemalan varieties, but generally they have a very consistent taste and flavor. And they're a little bit different. Some have better texture. Some have more intense flavors. But generally, these fruit are really delicious, high-quality fruit. And Nicaraguan Red does not disappoint. My only concern is that really thin skin, as you can see, on the outer edge. So for commercial potential, that would be concerning for me. But as a backyard home grower, these are just absolutely delicious varieties to grow. You can see they're really pretty too on the exterior. And the interior, beautiful purple flesh. The texture is really nice. It's pretty smooth. Reminds me of kind of like a grape. Slight grape flavor and berry is how I would describe this. In a good way, it's really delicious. I would give these fruit anywhere between an 8 to a 9 out of 10. And in this case, since they ripened a bit early, or quickly I should say, due to the temperature, I'd give these an 8. But when they're up a little sweeter, up in the 18s and 19s, that's when you get a Nicaraguan Red that tastes like a 9 in my humble opinion. This is going to be a great breakfast. I'm going to eat both of these, because I do not ever get sick of this variety. I just love it. So any Hyloceus guatemalensis with these similar traits of purple flesh, same type of interior, very similar exterior, just great fruit all around. I love them. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Spicy Exotics G2. So you can see here it's weighing in at 92 hundredths of a pound. It will get up to 2 pounds in size, or in weight, I should say, and it will brix in 19 to 20. So it's a really delicious Guatemalan type of plant. You can see here with the undulating ribs, this is a G2. So it's kind of that heart-shaped ribs and single spine. Occasionally you'll see 2 spines. And it looks very similar to other Guatemalans. All the Guatemalans generally look pretty similar. Here's the G3. And both of these came from Paul Thompson's collection, and he collected them from, I believe, a man named Quang Ong. So let's get to it. Let's cut this puppy open. Oh, here's an unknown Guatemalan, by the way, just to show you how similar they look. This one's a bit more lighter color inside. And wow, look at that beautiful fruit. I've had several of these off of the plant. The plant is now 3 years old, so it's putting out some really delicious, nice-sized fruit. So let's go ahead and check the sugar content and taste this fruit today. Now, Guatemalans are my favorite And there are subtle differences, but generally plants look very, very similar, very much the same, and they taste similar as well. But some have better flavors, in my opinion, than others, at least in my experience so far. And this one is delicious. Now, another interesting fact is there are different versions reported of G2. This one on Spicy Exotics is reported as self-sterile, but there's some other ones that are floating around here that are self-fertile. So you can see it's Brixing at 16, which is a little low, but it will get up into the 20s. So this one's gonna be a bit more on the tart side. You can see I maybe picked it a little early. That skin is quite thick, but I actually kind of like them a little bit tart. So let's see how this one tastes today. Now, this one is a little seedy. And it still tastes quite nice and sweet. But I do prefer when I have them Brixing a little higher. Now, this one is very delicious. Tastes very similar to other Guatemalans like American Beauty. It's really quite nice. Here's another one. Let's cut that one open and compare it. You can see this one's also a little seedy. It's still quite nice. It's also a little bit damaged. I believe I did drop this one yesterday, so that may explain the bruising right there. I really don't enjoy it when it's kind of gelatinous inside. I like it when it's really nice, firm texture. So let's go ahead and just Brix this one really quick, see if it's a little bit sweeter or more of the same. So a little lower. But again, I believe I picked these a little early. Still quite nice. When they get up into the 20s, they're really, really sweet. So that is G2 from Spicy Exotics. I actually have 4 sources of G2. And again, there's been some reports on self-fertility versus being self-sterile. So there are some differences. But this one is from Spicy Exotics. I really enjoy the fruit. I tend to give Guatemalans a higher score, so I would give this one personally 8 out of 10. But a really nice one, Brixing at 19 or 20, really ripe, bigger, with less seeds in it. I would rate that as probably a 9. I mean, they get really, really delicious. And they tend to be some of my favorite fruits. So there you go. That is G2 from Spicy Exotics. That's what the branches look like. Lovely, lovely fruit. Greetings, fellow dragon fruit lovers. This is Paul with another dragon fruit review. Today I'm going to review Fullerton. It's weighing in at almost 3/4 of a pound, and it's a Guatemalan. You can see it's similar to Florida Red Sweet. It's a little bit different shape. So I'm really excited to try this variety. You can see I actually got it at Laguna Hills Nursery when we went and learned about soil last year, so it grew pretty quick. Now here's a flower bud that you can see. Also typical Guatemalan traits. Here's the flower. And it smelled great, and it's really beautiful. Okay, so let's cut this open and give it a shot. Really beautiful looking Guatemalan. Nice thick skin. And if I were to guess, this is a Guatemalan hybrid. So it's going to taste similar to American Beauty and some of my other favorite varieties. Condor, the G series, and more. These tend to be my favorite fruit, hands down. So let's see how sweet it is. You just want to get the juice, none of the seeds. All right, let's see how it is. Get rid of any bubbles. So 19 1/10. That is excellent for a first-time fruit. Let's see how it tastes. Wow. A bit more complex than other Guatemalans I have. And I'm really glad I bought this one. Really, really good. Wow. I wouldn't go out of my way to find this. I mean, it's very similar to American Beauty. But wow, what a delicious fruit. This is definitely a keeper. Nice flesh to seed ratio. It's sweet, but it has a nice acidity to it and a lot of character. It's not just sweet. If I had to put this next to Quang Ong Self-Fertile or American Beauty, I would prefer to eat this one, believe it or not. Just all around a really delicious fruit. I would give this, in my humble opinion and humble rating, 8 or a 9. I could eat this all day. Wow. So there you go. This is Fullerton. And I got this one from Laguna Hills Nursery. And this is its first fruit. With a nice Brix of 19 1/10. And just a delicious fruit. So there you go. Give us a like and a subscribe. Fullerton is one that you want to add to your arsenal if you're a Guatemalan fan like I am. Woo, that's a delicious fruit. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day.